For today's assignment and for your homework tonight, we're going to deal with operations lesson 1. And what we did in this was we looked at what was going to happen when we divided a fraction by a whole number. It involved two parts. The first was making a model, and the second is doing the computation of the mathematical equation, or I should say expression. So we take a look at the expression of 4/5 divided by 4. The first step in making a model, and there are many different versions of the model that you can create to represent this, the one that I mainly teach, we create a rectangle, and in that rectangle I am going to separate it to represent what really goes on in this expression. The first thing to look at is this denominator of 5. What that tells me is that I'm taking my whole, which is represented by this rectangle, and I am dividing it into 5 pieces because they're fifths. My numerator, highlighted in green, tells me that I only have 4/5 of those remaining. Finally, to complete my model, I'm going to take a look at my whole number. And in this case, my whole number tells me that I'm going to divide those fifths, and not just the 4 that I have, but also the fifth one that I do not have remaining anymore, by 4. That will give me 4 rows going across. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this denominator said 5 columns going down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gives me the representation that I need for a model for this expression. So now we look at the mathematical computation that needs to go in order to solve this. In order to divide fractions, we need to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. And we do that in a little reminder that students get of what we call keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the first fraction in that expression the same. It's going to be 4/5. I am going to need to change, though, the division to multiplication. So I change my operation from division to multiplication. When I do that, I'm going to take the second integer, which is a 4, and actually turn it into a fraction. So I'm going to change 4/1 into 1/4. That is called taking the reciprocal. That's my flip. So it's 1/4. Now what I can do is multiply my numerators, which is 4 times 1 will give me 4, and then multiply my denominators, which is 5 times 4, which is 20. Before simplifying, And at this point, because I have 20 units in my model, which matches my denominator of 20, I'm going to come and circle 4 of them, because that is what my model represents right now for this problem, is the 4/20ths that I have calculated. And now I move on to complete the simplification process, and I find the greatest common factor between 4 and 20, which in this case is 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So my simplified fraction is 1/5. For the last 5 problems of your homework tonight, that is the process to do. So if you have any other questions, refer back to the notes, which I've posted on Bloom's. And also, you can rewatch the video. Thank you.